Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and selamat sejahtera. Hi everybody. See you again in topic 3 course behavior part 2. As a sign of support, please subscribe, like and share. The objective of the sharing in this topic are: first, explain the mixed cost. We will discuss and state the three methods of cost separation. Separate the mixed cost into fixed and variable costs by using the high-low activity method. And number 2, form the cost function, that is y equals to a plus bx. Purposes and importance of separation or segregation of mixed costs. Number 1, to identify the cost behavior. Number 2, to separate the element of variable costs and fixed costs. And number 3, to calculate the cost estimation. There are three methods in separation of mixed costs. Firstly, high-low activity. Secondly, using graph. And thirdly, simple regression. At matriculation level, you will be introduced to the high-low activity method only. High-low activity method. Data on the highest activity and the lowest activity are used to estimate the variable cost per unit and the total fixed cost. Activity or cost driver X can be stated in the form of production unit, direct labor hour, or machine hour. The cost function Y equals to A plus BX. High-low method is used to separate mixed costs into their variable and fixed components using the highest and lowest activity level. Ini bermaksud, kaedah aktiviti tinggi rendah menggunakan data aktiviti tertinggi dan aktiviti terendah untuk menganggarkan kos berubah per unit dan juga jumlah kos tetap. Cost function. What is cost function? First of all, we look at total cost. Total cost equals to total fixed cost plus total variable cost. And the cost function is y equals to a plus bx, where y equals to estimation of total cost, a equals to total fixed cost, b equals to variable cost per unit, and x equals to activity or the cost driver. For illustration, Kokus dan Berhad production data for 2020 are as follows. Months, production unit and total cost are given in the questions. Required: A. Calculate variable cost per unit. B. Calculate total fixed cost. And C. Form the cost function. So, the suitable method to answer this question is using high-low method. In the first place, you have to recognize the activity. The activity in this question is production unit. By looking at the production unit, find the data for the highest activity that is in May. Then find the lowest activity that is in January. Please highlight or underline the information in those months. Attention! Please do not take the highest cost, that is Rm 15,100 in September, even if it is the highest cost of the year. This is because the cost chosen must arise from the highest activity, as well as the lowest cost. The cost incurred must arise from the lowest activity. Ini bermaksud, dengan melihat unit production, cari data untuk aktiviti tertinggi iaitu pada bulan Mei. Kemudian, cari aktiviti terendah pula iaitu pada bulan Januari. Sila highlight atau garis maklumat pada bulan-bulan tersebut. Perhatian, sila jangan ambil kos tertinggi iaitu 15,100 pada bulan September. Ini adalah kerana kos yang kita pilih mestilah terbit daripada aktiviti tertinggi sahaja. Begitu juga dengan kos terendah, kos tersebut mestilah terbit daripada aktiviti yang paling rendah. Okay, now we have identified the highest activity and the lowest activity. Those are, for highest activity is in May, unit 18,000 and the total cost is 15,000 ringgit. While for lowest activity is in the month of January for 16,000 unit and the total cost is 14,000 ringgit. Question A is to calculate variable cost per unit. Based on the cost function y equals to a plus bx, b is variable cost per unit. So, the formula for variable cost per unit is cost at highest activity minus cost at lowest activity divided by highest activity minus lowest activity equals to cost at the highest activity is 15,000 minus cost at lowest activity is 14,000 over highest activity is 18,000 units minus lowest activity is 16,000 units equals to 1,000 ringgit over 2,000 units equals to 50 cent per unit. So, the answer for variable cost per unit is 50 cents. Question B is to calculate the total fixed cost. Based on the cost function y equals to a plus bx, where a is the fixed cost and b equals to 50 cent, that is the variable cost per unit that we have just calculated before. To calculate fixed cost, there are two ways. Firstly, at the lowest activity, that is at 16,000 unit, or x equals to 16,000. So, y equals to a plus bx. Y is the total cost. So, take 14,000 ringgit, that is the lowest cost, equals to a plus 50 cent times 16,000. The 16,000 is the lowest activity unit. So, 14,000 ringgit equals to a plus 8,000 ringgit, A equals to 6,000. So, the answer for fixed cost equals to 6,000. Or, another way to calculate fixed cost is at the highest activity, that is at 18,000 unit, or X equals to 18,000. So, Y equals to A plus BX. Y is the total cost for the highest activity, that is 15,000, equals to A plus 50 cent times 18,000 unit. The 18,000 unit is the highest unit. So, A equals to 6,000. So, the total fixed cost equals to 6,000 ringgit. Note that the fixed cost of 6,000 ringgit remain constant at all volume of production activities. Question C is to form the cost function. Based on the cost function formula, y equals to a plus bx, so the answer is y equals to 6,000 ringgit plus 50 cents x. Now we look at the comprehensive questions. Ashraf Company Limited is a producer of banana chips. Below are the cost information taken from its financial records for the months of January and February 2017. The production unit for January is 21,000 and for February is 27,000. And the cost for Pisang Tanduk, salary and wages, factory rent, depreciation machine, and utility is given in the questions. Required. Number 1, identify the cost behavior for each of the costs above. Number 2, for the mixed cost, separate the total cost into variable and fixed costs by using the high-low activity method. Number 3, form the cost function for the total monthly cost. Number 4, estimate the total utility cost if production is 35,000 packets of banana chips. And number 5, estimate the total cost if production is 35,000 packets of banana chips. To answer question number 1, we found that for factory rent, the total cost for January and February is same, that is 1,500. And depreciation machine also same for January and February, that is 200 ringgit. So, factory rent is fixed cost and depreciation machine is also fixed cost. Now, we look at Pisang Tanduk. The cost per unit for January for Pisang Tanduk equals to 75 cents. And for February, the cost per unit for Pisang Tanduk is 75 cents. In this case, cost per unit for January and February is same. So, Pisang Tanduk is variable cost. Now, we look at salary and wages. Cost per unit for January is 73 cents, while cost per unit in February is 62 cents. Now, we can see that the cost per unit for January is not same with February. So, salary and wages is mixed cost. For utility, the total cost per unit in January is 7 cents, while in February is 6 cents. In this case, the cost per unit for utility in January is not same in February. So, utility is mixed cost. Question A is to form cost function for mixed cost, that is salary and wages and utility. For salary and wages, firstly, we use formula y equals to a plus bx. Firstly, we find out the variable cost per unit, that is B equals to highest cost minus lowest cost divided by highest unit minus lowest unit. So, the variable cost per unit for salary and wages is 25 cents. Secondly, we find out the total fixed cost. In this question, I use the highest activity, that is in February. Y, that is 16,750, is the total cost for highest activity, equals to A plus 25 cents times 27,000 unit. The 27,000 unit is the highest unit in highest activity. So, the answer for fixed cost equals to 10,000 ringgit. So, the cost function for salary and wages is y equals to 10,000 ringgit plus 25 cents x. For utility, y equals to a plus bx. Firstly, we find out the variable cost per unit. That is B equals to highest cost minus lowest cost in utility over highest unit minus lowest unit. So, the answer for variable cost per unit is 2 cents. Secondly, we find out the total fixed cost. In this question, I use the lowest activity, that is in January. So, the total cost for the lowest activity is 1,420 equals to A plus 2 cents times 21,000. The 21,000 is the unit for lowest activity. So, the answer for total fixed cost equals to 1,000. So, the answer for the cost function y equals to 1,000 ringgit plus 2 cents x. Question 3 is to find out the cost function for total production. Based on the answer from question 1 and question 2, pisang tanduk is the variable cost. The cost is 75 cents and no fixed cost. For salary and wages, the variable cost per unit is 25 cents and fixed cost is 10,000. This is because salary and wages is the mixed cost. For factory rent is the fixed cost. So there are no variable costs per unit, and the fixed cost is 1,500. Same goes to depreciation machine. The depreciation machine is a fixed cost. So there are no variable costs per unit. It has only fixed cost 200. Utility is the mixed cost. So for the variable cost per unit is 2 cents and the fixed cost is 1,000. So the total for variable cost per unit equals to 1 ringgit and 2 cents, while the total for fixed cost equals to 12,700. So the cost function for total production equals to Y equals to 12,700 ringgit plus 1 ringgit and 2 cents X. Question 4 is to calculate the utility cost if production is 35,000 packets of banana chips. To answer this question, you take the cost function for utility that we have formed in question 2. That is, Y equals to 1,000 ringgit plus 2 cents X. So, to calculate the cost, that is Y equals to 1,000 ringgit plus 2 cents. X is 35,000. So, you get the total cost is 1,700. To answer question number 5 is to calculate total cost if production is 35,000 packets of banana chips. To answer this question, we take the cost function for total cost that we have formed in question 3. That is, Y equals to 12,700 ringgit plus 1 ringgit and 2 cents X. So, we insert 35,000 packets into X. So, we solve the problem equals to 12,700 plus 35,700. So, the total cost if production is 35,000 packet equals to 48,400. In conclusion, to know the types of cost behavior, we have to look at the characteristic of total cost and cost per unit. For variable costs, total costs varies according to the level of activity, but the cost per unit is constant. For fixed costs, the total cost is constant, but cost per unit is varies, that is, decreasing with increased activity. And for mixed costs, the total cost is varies. The cost per unit also varies. Okay, that's all for topic 3, cost behavior, and we will see you on the next topic soon. If you like this video, please subscribe, like and share. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and selamat sejahtera.